Right from the childhood, we have been taught about the importance of doing work in a team or in a group. That is what been taught in school, that is what been taught in universities, and that is how things are taught in your working space. But in this video, we will not be talking about how to work in a group or a team. Rather, we will be talking how to work independently. Now, working independently is also a very important aspect of one's life. So there are a few important aspects of independent working. For example, one who does independent working take full responsibility of their work. Okay, and you take the ownership. You are ready to do unsupervised work. You are capable of completing the work within stipulated time. That means you create your own timelines. Okay, a short timeline period, a medium timeline period, a long timeline period. So these are some of the aspects of working independently. So not all scenarios are fit for doing an independent work. So that is why we have to do a lot of work in team or in group. The next points would be the advantages of independent working. Now, when we talk about advantages of independent working, the first one that is a very important advantage is that we do not need to depend upon anyone for your work. Okay, whatever things that you need to do, that you are trying to figure out, you do it by your own. So you have your own vision, you have your own wisdom to work. So that is one important point or advantages of independent working. Next is you can work at your own pace. So you do not need to have a particular working style or a particular working time. Okay, you can create your own pace and comfortable environment for working. Next is easy, it is easier to focus and concentrate, as there are no conflicts of interest between various people, as that happens in a teamwork. Next is, since there are no interactions and meetings, you are able to complete the task faster. Okay, so you do not need to go to obligations. Okay, you do not need to schedule a meeting. You do not need to schedule a team work or a team activity. Okay, or boost up the morality of a team. So here you work independently, so you know what you are going to work with, and you don't basically work with a stipulated time, rather than you have a flexible time to work with. Next is, if you succeed, the full credit goes upon your shoulder. Okay, so you pat your own back. But if you fail, the failure goes to you. Unlike teamwork, where for one particular person, the entire team has to take the brunt of the failure. Okay, so now let us talk about the various working styles of independent working. The first is, you would be your own supervisor, you would be your own critic, and you would be your own guide. Okay, so when it comes to independent working, you supervise your own work. You exactly know where to start and where to end is going to take off, and how it is going to land. Then you become your own critic, because you can judge yourself better. Okay, you would be doing mistakes and you'll be learning out of your mistakes. Okay, you might be learning a new way or a new process. For example, you might be learning a new time management skills while doing your own independent work. And then you can be your own guide, because then you'll be doing a lot of research by your own to understand the work frame, the work mentality, and the demand of your clients. So this point is very, very important. This working style is very, very important. The next would be clear about your objectives. So you actually know how the project is shaping up, and what would be the end product of that particular project, or that particular work. So you are very clear about your objectives. Okay, you actually know what to achieve from your objectives. Okay, next is taking initiatives. Okay, you would be taking a lot of initiative, because there would be lot of roadblocks while you would be working independently. Because when you work independently, you need to keep in mind, you do not have multiple hands to take care of your work. So you are on your own, so you have to frame your own things, crisscross through lot of struggles, through lot of roadblocks, and that is how you would be taking lot of initiatives and initiations. Next would be commitment, as because this is your own work, this is your own project, so you would be fully committed to that particular work. Okay, so that is one important working style of independent working. Next, you can maintain a work-life balance. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You can manage your own professional life and your own personal life. So you basically would know where to pay importance when it comes to your work, because you can balance it. Next is you have a constructive ownership of your own mistakes and errors. You exactly would be knowing where you are committing a mistake or where you are going to commit a mistake. You exactly would be knowing where is the error. Okay. So then you would be working on your mistakes. You would be working on your errors because you are on your own. There is no one to help you. So you are the own sailor of the ship. The next is the stress management. With independent working, there will be a lot of stress. There will be a lot of deadlines. There will be a lot of expectation of people around you, expectation of your own oneself at first, then your parents, your friends, your colleagues, okay, your clients. So and then as because you have things to prove with every work, with every independent work, your build up of expectation increases. Okay. Okay, so to work independently, one must be having some action plans. Okay, like goal setting. Okay, what would be your goal with the particular work? Okay, where you want to see yourself succeeding after the kind of work you are taking or undertaking independently. So, with the objectives known and equipped with the required inputs, an independent worker sets the goals to achieve short-term objectives, medium-term objectives, and long-term objectives as per the requirements. The next should be planning. Obviously, you need to plan. Okay, you need to do a drawing of the entire work that would require from the start until the end. It involves things like dividing the work into smaller tasks. It's very, very important to divide a larger piece of work into small modules or in smaller tasks so that it is easier to understand and rectify and then move ahead with the next part of the work. Next is the timeline. You do not have an infinite timeline to work independently with your own project. So you also have to take care of your clients. You also have to take care of the deadline that you will be submitting your work for. The fourth part would be the time management, which is very, very important, as because you do not have a time frame to work with, as because you do not have a boss, you are your own boss. So you cannot be lazy or reluctant. You cannot pull yourself back when you see things are not working out the way it should be working. So you have to have that motivation. We'll be discussing this part in the later half of this video. So that part is very, very important. So time management is very, very important. It involves prioritizing the subtasks and identifying which all tasks can be done independently and which all jobs are dependent on other subtasks. So this is a very, very important aspect of an action planning. This time. Now let us talk about qualities of independent working. See, it's not easy to work independently. That means how do you know that you have the ability or the potentiality of working independently? So you should be knowing few things about yourself. The first is self-awareness. So you need to be honest about yourself that yes, these are my drawbacks. Yes, this is where I am lacking. And only then you can understand whether you would be able to take up a work independently or not. So the first thing would be to ask yourself, do I have the required skill set or do I need any external help to develop this skill set? Okay. So a skill set can be like having full understanding of their personality traits. For example, the flaws, that means things that I don't possess. The attitudes, what kind of an attitude do I have? Am I being grumpy with situation? Am I irritable? Am I arrogant? Okay. Am I the person who doesn't compromise? Am I the person who doesn't know how to sacrifice things when it is needed? Then your strengths, of course, your weaknesses, your interests, your abilities, the emotions, how you control your emotions. Okay. In your life, there will be a lot of instances where you would be failing to do certain work, and then you would be getting all sorts of criticism from your friends, from your parents, from your elders. Now, how are you to take those kind of emotions? Okay, so those things are very, very important. We like to talk a lot, but the most important aspect of one's life is also to listen. If you won't listen, how would you understand things? And if you don't understand things, how would you explain it to others? Okay, so the next would be, do I have excellent listening skills? Is very, very important. Next is, do I take the feedback and suggestions constructively? For example, there are a lot of us who cannot take any negativity for themselves. Okay, if someone does tell me in a negative way or criticize me, hey, you are a very bad temper, then I will get angry. Okay, but the thing is, okay, to understand that criticism and work on it. If five people are saying that I have a bad temper, that means there is a problem, and I need to be working with that particular aspect or character traits of myself. Okay. The next is, am I self-motivated enough to complete this task as per schedule or deadlines, or do I need any external help to keep me motivated? I've seen a lot of people from my childhood times until now. Like I've seen my friends, I've seen my colleagues. Okay, I've seen a lot of students like you. There are few who doesn't leave the job behind, whatever the situation is. For example, if someone is into a mathematical problem, if it is not even getting solved, lot of us would not even bother to solve it, would be very lazy or reluctant, or would be just scared or afraid of not completing it or not knowing it, and we lose our interest. But there are a lot of people who finds a way, who keeps on doing the work until the work is done successfully. So this trait is very, very important. The next point would be self motivation. So from self awareness, we need to we are moving towards self motivation. Now, what is self motivation? A lot of us have a lot of dream. We think that we'll become a cricketer. We think that we'll become a celebrity. We think that we'll become a successful YouTuber. A lot of people have this kind of an inspiration looking into the outside world and think I might be, in his or her place. Now, when you have a thought and you have an initiation to convert it into action, that process is called self-motivation. Okay? And self-motivation is very, very important. If you have a dream, you must know how to protect your dream. That is very, very important. Okay? No matter whatever people tell you, whatever, demotivation they do to you, you should never lose out of your dream. So whenever you have a dream, try to protect it. Okay. Self-motivation is one such thing. You need to constantly motivate yourself that yes, you can. Yes, you have the ability to do it. Okay. If other can do it, you can also do it. So that is very, very important, because if you are not self-motivated, you become lazy, you become grumpy, you become arrogant. Okay. This is not good. So you can have a few self-motivation techniques to work with. Okay, if you feel like you do not have the self-motivation, or you do not have the desire to drive yourself for a particular task, so you can have these self-motivation techniques. You can decide everyday target for your work. Okay, you can visualize the desired outcome. For example, if you really good at playing cricket, practice shadow practicing. Okay, and then you look upon yourself that what you can become if you become a successful cricketer. You can play into Ranji trophies. Okay, you can play in IPL. You can play in the national team. You can wear that blue jersey, okay, written India. So how it would be when you go into such kind of a position? Okay, how will it be for your parents, for your friends, okay, to see that you are playing for the country? Okay, you are surrounded by millions of spectators cheering up for you. Those kind of a feeling, the emotions, feel that, and then you would be self-motivated. Next is, play up to your strengths and interests. Not every one of us are fulfilled with all desired skills that is needed to be successful in life. Okay, not all successful people have got desired skills. So the thing is, you need to understand your strengths. Okay, that is very, very important. Next, monitor your progress. There is no better than yourself to understand how problematic you are or how successful you can be. Okay, you can be your own good critic. So understand what you are doing. Understand that you have a drawback. If you have a drawback, work with it. That is very, very important. So the next thing would be the self-regulation. Now it is very, very important. Why? Because it requires ones to control their own emotions. Okay, the way you behave in tough situations and challenges, and manage them effectively. Now, for this pandemic situation, a lot of us are going through a lot of bad times. Every one of us across the globe are going through tough times. So these are the testing period of our life. Okay, we cannot be demotivated. We cannot lose hope, because hope is the best of thing that can happen to oneself. Okay, so self-regulation is very very important. How you counsel yourself, how you pull yourself out from depression. Every one of us slip into depression at one time or the other. Okay, every one of us have got anger in themselves. Every one of us are deprived in some way. Not every one of us are born with golden spoon. So that means you need to understand these aspects. You need to regulate this aspect of your life, that is self regulations. Now, for self regulations, awareness of own emotions and behavior is very very important. Willingness and a willpower to regulate self is very very important. Efforts to regulate self is very very important, and exercise self control. Like, there are a lot of people. For example, if I quote one of the legendary of cricket, Mr. MS Dhoni. If you have seen MS Dhoni playing on the field, you might be seeing how cool and composed he is. He is considered as one of the coolest player in the world cricket. So that means, he takes situations, be it anything, in a very calm and composed manner. That means he has the ability to self-regulate his emotions and behavior. He do not become arrogant. I haven't seen him become arrogant or screaming out to his fellow, players on the field. Okay, so be it any situation, he's very cool and he's very composed. So that is one of an example. So there are a lot of people who really act in such manner. That means they learn the skills to self-regulate their own emotions and behavior. So these are the important aspects and things that is required to work independently. In coming chapters, we would learn one more very important aspect coming out of working independently, that is entrepreneurship. So until then, thank you for watching the video.